of these bitches, they know it's a clip. Still in their feelings, they pray and I fail. But watching me winning, they hoping I lose. But watching me get it, I'm praying to God that one of you niggas gon' try to jump back so I can roll this. My body is different.
What up? What up?
Outside the lot, I told you I'm shitting. I live in the A. Still dropping off work on the Queen, still getting on linen.
Y'all already know it's Mr. Hood Love Mikey B. You know what I'm saying? Today, you know, I'm gonna be, you know, doing a video on blacks and Latinos in hip hop, street, and prison culture. You know what I'm saying? I'll be reacting to that.
And always celebrating holidays, everything in our store.
And it seems like, you know, every few months, 6 months to a year, you know, bloggers, people on the internet, use these conversations. I had seen a blogger about a few weeks ago, you know, talking about some things I seen from prison culture and the starting of some movements, how they started. He wasn't a part of the culture. You know, he was a prisoner. He wasn't really a part of the culture, but you know, he was coming back, and they used this as like a dog whistle, to incite people, you know, to move to numbers. And really, you know, it starts to put communities and people at odds, you know what I'm saying? You know, I was involved with street culture in my life. I was involved with hip hop, in and out of that. And I think it's an agenda that people are pushing to keep blacks and Latinos at odds. I really think, you know, they want to see the people divided at all times. And a lot of the stuff that they push is a lot bigger, or excuse me, I should say, a really lot more smaller, a lot more insignificant than what people are trying to paint this stuff to really be. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different conflicting conversations on this black and Latino thing going on right now. You got the, you got the street stuff, you know, the prison stuff. You got that, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the hip hop stuff. You know, who started hip hop? Blacks. How much did Latins contribute? Did they do half of the contribution? But we're going to talk about a little bit of all of that tonight. That's what we're going to be talking about in this live today. And you know, share the live. You know what I mean? Hit that like button. You know, so you know, I've been out. I'm older. You know what I'm saying? I'm knocking on the door of 50. I'll be 50 in a little while, a short while. You know what I mean? I'll be 50 years old. So you know, I've been around for a lot. I've seen a whole lot. You know what I mean? And really, I never really seen where I'm from. I never really seen like the racial tension in my community like that. Growing up in St. Albans, Queens, there weren't too many. You had a lot of people that, you know, they had own stores. We had Spanish people, but we didn't really look at them from a racist perspective. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, it was never really a racial thing. When I got to prison, some things was going on. It didn't really affect me. I was good. You know what I'm saying? No Spanish dudes never did nothing to me. But I did see stuff going on around me when I first went to prison in the 90s, in the early 90s. What up? Salute to everybody coming in the building. So I seen things going on with the Latin Kings. I seen, you know, some black guys getting yapped. I seen different things going on. I seen the Jamaicans, you know, going back and forth with them. I seen the, you know, the beginning of the Damu movement in New York happening, going into prison. And you know, these bloggers, they be talking. I really be wanting to debate these dudes, but they just talk that talk. They know they can't really stand to a person that was really there and talk certain things because it's cap. You know what I'm saying? And they're not coming from an unbiased position. They coming because, you know, they might got beef with the homies. They might don't like them, or, you know, that's not their crew. So they're gonna speak on the internet against them. And not in an unbiased way. But like I said, I never, coming through prison, I never was oppressed by Spanish people or Latin people. But on the same token, you got guys saying, because It's no way that the Latin kings could oppress blacks in prison, being that black people outnumbered Spanish people were only 17% of the population, and black people were like, 50% or more, or something around that, like, or a large number, a large number. But to refute that off the top, blacks in prison were never a united movement. Black people in prison were never united. You had borough wars going on. You had Jamaicans over here. You had Muslims over here. You had the guards over here. And the Muslims and the guards they were predominantly black, but they weren't all black. They both had white and Spanish individuals in those religions as well. You see? So the blacks was never a united force. So anything that's organization is always going to beat disorganization, right? And of course we know it was it was good. It was live wires. When you speak on Rikers Island, it was live wires from all over New York, and blacks was really running the phones for me coming through prison the whole time I was there. For the most part, black guys was running the phones, running the houses for the most part. You might have had a couple houses here and there that were ran by Latin people, but those was like renegade dudes. They weren't, all right, we all black and we all over here, we all on this phone. It wasn't like that. It was, I got the phone, you get in line. You see what I'm saying? What they doing to you over there, it does not matter to me. That does not affect me. You see what I'm saying? Well, when you talk about Latin kings or the Netas, they were organized forces going at people in court, going at black people, and going at Spanish people. Don't get it wrong. I'm not going to sit up here and say that, Latin kings were only targeting black guys or black people. They were targeting Spanish people. A lot of my allies, a lot of my comrades, that were going against when I end up turning Damu, they end up riding with me. They was Spanish, they was neutral, they was riding with me. A lot of the neutral guys, so it wasn't a Latin king, it wasn't a Spanish thing. It wasn't a Latino thing, because the Dominicans, they had their own thing going on. At that time, they had the Dominican power. They had that because what? The Latin kings, they were going through stuff with the Latin kings. So Dominicans made their own gang. And the Netas was a whole nother different gang. So when you talk about prison culture, that is cap. Because, and don't get me wrong, they all came together. They all came together when it came to going against Damu. This is a fact. You see what I'm saying? Those gangs had came together. I was in Green in 1994 and 1995, and I seen what was happening to the Damus, how they was taking turns and getting them Damus up out of there. You know what I'm saying? If they wasn't live, if they wasn't connected to neutral. I was neutral at that time in 9-4. But, if they wasn't running with dudes like us, the Jamaicans, the Brooklyn cats that was running with us, we had Yonkers, we had a crew. And if you wasn't messing with us, which was like a black movement, but we didn't call it that. We was just getting together and, we was standing up against the oppression. You see what I'm saying? We didn't never come like, all right, all black guys are good when they come to this prison. No, we just stood up for guys we knew. Other little guys was getting hit and all kind of stuff was like that was going on. And, we really didn't, because it didn't really involve us. You see what I'm saying? If it involved our crew, our blocks, dudes we know, a guy that we knew was Peoples, that we knew was a stand-up official guy, and they called us out, then we stepped out there and we stepped to these dudes, meaning the Latin kings and the Netas, and we was running down, and they know when we was coming, how it was going to go. So whoever we came in the aid of, then it was good. You see what I'm saying? But there was really, I can't really say that I seen when I came to prison, in the 90s, in the early 90s, and I'm not talking 9-2, because I wasn't on Rikers Island 9-2 before Damu 9-3. My time is 9-4. I came upstate 9-4. That's my time. But so I can't say I never seen him. I seen him do stuff like everybody else was doing stuff to people, but an organized like oppression of black people all together, probably not. But doing stuff here and there, yeah, they were doing stuff just like everybody else was doing stuff. Rikers Island was lit. You see what I'm saying? You got you had black on black stuff going on, Spanish on black, you had, white, whatever. It was all kind of stuff going. It wasn't no, I can't really say it was a racist agenda. I was in houses with Latin kings. I was in houses with netas. You know what I'm saying? I think the first dude, the first fight I had upstate was with a neta. I was on the phone. He knocked on the phone too hard. He tried to tell me, like, check me to get up the phone. And I got up the phone. When I finished my call, I popped. You know what I'm saying? We stayed in the jail together. They ain't try to do nothing to me when I got up out of there. And it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? But that was my first fight up north in 1994 in Green Correctional Facility was with a neta. You know what I'm saying? And I was on dolo. I was just on Queens time. It wasn't. I didn't look at it as being racist. I just looked at it as a dude trying to violate me over the phone. It wasn't a bunch of netas. It was one dude. He tried to, like, they got phone booths. He tried to bang on the phone booth, like, check me, like, yo, what you doing? Get up the phone. And I was on there with my peoples. I felt, at the time, I was on bullshit. I came out and I popped. But I washed them up. But other than that, I wouldn't say I didn't take that. He didn't have the phone, and I didn't take that as me having beef with the netas. I just take that as a dude that was neta to try to violate me, and I had to take care of it. You know what I'm saying? But that was the first fight that I had when I was upstate. And I really didn't have too much more. I got into a couple of incidents, but they ain't really want no problems with me. But it was like minor stuff, like over nonsense and really garbage. So I didn't really, besides them getting at certain dudes that was coming up soon as they came up, that's the only real impression I seen. They was cutting a lot of dudes. I seen them go to war with the Muslims. It was a couple of wars and stuff like that. Back and forth with the guards. They was getting on with the guards. And they was oppressing each other. They was oppressing some of or trying to oppress the Dominicans, getting this stuff with the Dominicans at that time, who was called the DP, Dominican Powers at that time. It was just a little different, you know what I mean? But I think this whole racist thing of trying to pit blacks and Latinos in this age, we in the information age, we all know and understand that we all the same. If you don't understand that at this point, then I don't know how you don't understand that we all the same peoples at this point. You see what I'm saying? With just different languages from different countries. If you can't see that by now, then I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? But they trying to keep this wedge between the peoples, between our cultures, and it really where there is none. Where none, the only barrier that we might have is a language barrier. We really share the same culture and we really share the same bloodlines, right? We share the same ancestry. The only difference is geographics and language. That's the only difference between the black and Latinos in the Western Hemisphere. The only difference between blacks and Latinos in the Western Hemisphere is geographical differences and language. That's it. We have the same bloodlines. We are all the same people, right? We are all the same people. So really, we shouldn't even be having these conversations. These conversations should really be like, they should be short and nipped in the bud. They shouldn't even be getting no traction. They shouldn't even be getting no air. You see what I'm saying? They shouldn't even be getting no air. We are all the same people. I don't know what you're talking about, Southside Tony. We are all the same people. I don't know, I know my history. I'm in tune with my history. I know my history. We are all the same people, no matter what you want to think. We are all the same people. We all got the blood of the same. Our ancestry is the same, bro. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestry is the same. Or they confused us. We are in a state of confusion. They put us in a state of confusion with the different languages. That's all on purpose. I can sit here and tell you all the differences. I can sit here and tell you, all right, where you from? All right, I'm from what city you from? All right, I'm from this city. All right, what hood you from? What block you from? Okay, that's 3 differences right there. All right. What's your religion? That's 4. What sect of your religion are you? Right? You could be Muslim, you could be Sunni, you could be Shiite. You see what I'm saying? You could be Christian, but you could be Protestant. You could be it's a bunch of different denominations of Christianity and Catholic, right? All right, where are your peoples from? Where your family from? Where your bloodline from? I'm from Jamaica. What side? You heard? Or I'm from the Caribbean. What country in the Caribbean? Right? Bro, it's so many. It's like you'll start to get confused between all the things they put out there to divide us, to keep us divided, because you could be the divided force. It's easier to beat and to lead a divided force. Right? United we stand, divided we fall. Keep them divided. Keep them arguing and bickering over crumbs, over nothing, over things that don't even exist no more. If blacks and Latinos is all profiting off hip hop, why is it an argument with how much of the percentage of who made it? Why is that even a thing right now? Why are we even having that conversation? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Why? Everybody, black and Latinos, is eating good. You know, we sharing the same culture, some of the same music. Everybody living good, everybody eating. Why is this even a conversation right now? Why was this a conversation a year ago? Why would this conversation be coming back up? Because this agenda is being pushed. What you got to think about is this. Why are they trying to divide the people? Why? Why is this something? Why is this a thing? The Latins in the music industry don't mind. They making music with everybody. They getting money with everybody. Why? They don't care. We don't care. We in there rocking out to Cardi B, Fat Joe, you know, whoever's lit at the time. If it's hot, you know, we lit. So why would it even be a thing? Why would this even be a conversation? The conversation is to keep people divided. You know what I'm saying? It's to keep people divided. We all one people. We all the same people, bro. We don't got too much. We got more alike than we got different. Like I told you, the only thing that separate us is all of us, all people. You know how long they've been, you know how many Latinos came up to me and thought I was Dominican? You know how many times I had people come up to me speaking Spanish when they see me? I met an old-timer Puerto Rican guy. He looked exactly like my grandfather. Same complexion, same bald head, reef on his head. I'm same height. I wish I could have I was in prison when I seen him. I wish I could have took a picture of him and showed it to my family. They would have said that was my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? They was like, yo, that's his doppelganger. Everybody got a twin. I met my grandfather's twin, and he was Puerto Rican and couldn't speak English really. You know what I'm saying? But I told him, I spoke to him, and I told him, I said, yo, man, you look just like my grandfather. You know what I mean? And my family's not from Puerto Rico. You see what I'm saying? My family is from the South, from the Cherokee Nation, and the rest of my family is, from Jamaica. But I understand that we all the same people. They just got us confused, man. They want to keep us in a state of confusion. That's all that is, what you seeing. That's all that is. They try to keep us in a state of confusion, bro. That shit is whack, man. Super whack, you heard? That's what I'm saying. You cannot say no color. You can't look at colors. I see what y'all saying in the chat, and you can't say from colors who's what, because you got darker Dominicans. You got Dominicans that's darker than me. It's not, you can't say it's a color. The only thing that separate us, I'm telling you, is geographics and language. That's the only difference that we have, bro. And that was on purpose. That language barrier, that was done on purpose. That's not an accident. That was forced upon us. A lot of these languages was forced upon us. And that was done purposely to keep us in confusion so we couldn't rebel. These languages, we lost our languages so we couldn't rebel. That was purposely done. That was purposely done. This ain't our native tongue. This ain't none of our native tongue. This is not none of our native tongue. You heard? I'm just being honest. This is not our native tongue. But, you know, people is pushing agendas. And don't get me wrong, a lot of this stuff came from our families too. Our families pushed a lot of this. And they were taught that. Let me tell you something. Our families pushed that on us. And they were taught that from racists. They were taught that from racists. And they keep sending that down the line, the history line of their families. You see what I'm saying? That was taught from racists, bro. A lot of this stuff that we learned is learned from behavior from our oppressors of our peoples, bro, for the last 500 years. All of our peoples. That was taught from the oppressors, bro. And we still assimilating that, and we still pressing that, and we still sending that down the line to the generations of our people, bro. Like, we gotta extinguish that. We gotta cut that, bro. And I'm talking about on the black side, on the Latin side, everybody gotta cut that because we all playing a part in that. We all playing a role in that, bro. When we was in prison, dudes ain't really care about that, bro. A lot of dudes ain't care about that. Dudes in Spanish gangs, I seen them ride with dudes in black gangs. I seen New York is different. I don't know about other states. I know the feds is different. New York, you might have a black guy and a Spanish guy. Your best man, your best man that's gonna hold you down is a Spanish dude, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your best man that's gonna go harder against other Spanish, against whoever. New York is not like other places, bro. So, you know, people, they can't really get into our politics if they're not from New York. We ride our own way. We rock out our own way. We don't, you know, we grow up together with, you know, blacks and Spanish grow up together. It ain't like the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? My top guys, my most loyal friends are Mexican, are Dominican, are Puerto Rican. Some of my best friends in prison, I knew I never had to worry about them flipping on me or being my most loyal guys was Latin. We didn't care about that. We didn't care about that. If you was solid, you know what I'm saying? If you was stand up, this is how we felt. If you was stand up and you was solid, then you was good. If you was black, if you was Puerto Rican, if you was white, we didn't care about none of that. We just cared about if you was, you know, you wasn't in here for no bad case and you was a stand-up dude and you wasn't doing, you know, no other stuff in prison. That's what we cared about. That's what we cared about. We didn't care about none of the rest of that, bro. We didn't care about none of that, you heard? Word up, man. We didn't care about that, man. So these dudes, and you know, they be trying to push these agendas and try to keep this up here and try to change the narrative. Nobody ain't changing the narrative. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, we're not changing the narrative of the Latin Kings. The Latin Kings was a gang that was Puerto Rican, they was racist against Dominicans. That's why the Dominicans had their own gang. Dominicans wasn't Latin King. Latin King was mostly Puerto Rican. That's just the facts. The Dominicans had their own gang. The Dominicans did their own thing because what? They faced some of that pressure. A lot of Dominicans turned down Mu because what? They faced some of that pressure. They know what was going on. You see what I'm saying? They know what was going on and they joined up. Puerto Ricans, Spanish dudes joined up too. Why would everybody And I'm not saying, of course, you had dudes after the war was over that jumped on a wave. I ain't talking about them. I'm not talking about the wave riders. I'm not talking about the wave riders afterwards. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the first waves, the second wave. I'm talking about the early times. And in the early times, if you was Latin Kings, when they caught up with you, because they was going hard. Latin Kings, you know, they was going hard. I'm not saying they were soft dudes. They was official. You had official Latin Kings. They was going in. And you had certain Latins that was running with them too. That was neutral. You know what I'm saying? They was getting at the Damus that was Spanish more than anything. They was looking for them. They was hunting for them, or the ex-kings that turned Damu, because a lot of, you know, kings turned Damu. A lot of them, they was on their tops. They was really trying to transform against them and transgress against them more than anything. You see what I'm saying? When they caught up within either the 2000s, even in the late 90s, you know, when it really calmed down and it was really over. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, you can't change history about what was going on. And you can't use the fact that it was more blacks in prison than Latins. When you have an organized organization, is always going to beat disorganization. When you went to prison, there was no black car in New York. You had to fend for yourself. You had to go in there. You had to fight for the foe, just like everybody else. It wasn't no, all right, you black, come over here. We're going to put you with the Africans. You on the African side. They trying to make it seem like that. That is cap. They was going to war in prison. They was beating black dudes up. They was robbing black dudes. They was popping dudes' chains. You had to go hard. If you were Spanish, you had more of a chance because the Spanish dudes stuck together as a force as opposed to black people. So that's the difference. That's the difference. They try to say, and I'm not saying, you know, you have black dudes running the houses and running the phones and rocking chains and doing all that. But the Latin Kings, they was leaving certain dudes alone, just like the Bloods and every other gang leave certain dudes alone that's thorough in a state or, you know, or in on Rikers Island. We all know that. It's thorough dudes that nobody's messing with. But on the same token, like I said, the blacks in New York in the 90s was not a united force. You had borough wars. You had Brooklyn versus the Bronx. You had dudes was every man for himself. So, of course, if you got an organized group of people and we all raindrops and you can run through us like a river, of course you're going to win because there's no, you watching, yo, forget him. Forget what's happening to him. He ain't from Brooklyn. He ain't from Queens. He ain't from the Bronx. Forget that Brooklyn dude. They sitting back and watching the show. So that's the difference. These dudes is trying to say because blacks overpopulated Spanish in prison that there's no way that they can oppress. But think about our history. Look at our history with the European. The European oppressed Africa, the South America, North America with a smaller force. The European came in and did that with a smaller force. Am I right or wrong? The conquistadors. They started from the bottom and came up the whole map with a small, they came in boats and took the whole land. What you talking about? That's because no matter the numbers, one could beat 10. You learn this in the basics. One could beat 10. This is the basics. Organization is always going to beat disorganization. No matter how large the numbers. No matter how many, if you disorganize and I'm organized, then I can win. Right? The Europeans came and colonized continents with boats. Come on, bro. With technology. So don't try to kick that. And you know, you got all kind of dudes tapping in on these conversations that don't even got a dog in the fight. It wasn't even in none of this. And they tapping in on these conversations. You know, don't get me wrong. Everybody can speak and have their opinions. But how good is your opinion if you wasn't even involved? Why you even got that? You know what I'm saying? Word up. I don't even understand that. But that's the facts. That is the facts. Organization is always going to be disorganization. One can be 10. A small number can take out large numbers. If we organize and y'all disorganized. If we have better skills, if we have better arms, we're gonna win. Just being honest. I'm just being honest. And that's the facts. The history of the Americas will teach you those facts. The history of Africa, the Zulu nation in Africa, how they wiped that out with smaller numbers, better weapons, more skilled fighters, less rituals. They took over they took over nations because they had rifles and them Africans had spears. Understand the history. They got guns. They coming through with gunpowder. Everybody got bow and arrows until they got guns too. I'm just being honest, yo. I'm just being honest, you heard? This is what it is. This is the true story. This is the real story. All right, deuces. That's the facts. You know what I'm saying? That's just the facts. You know what I mean? But we shouldn't be hearing these conversations. We shouldn't be hearing these conversations no more. This is like y'all just chasing, certain dudes just chasing clicks and views. When they trying to push the agenda. I'm just saying, when you trying to push a racist agenda, you doing it because it's garbage. And we gotta stop going for it. We gotta even stop feeding into it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop because we all one people. We all the same people out here. You know what I'm saying? We all trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, been here in America, and a lot of us came to America. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our families came to America and, came here to make it happen and make it do what it do. All the rest of this stuff is just to get in our way, to clog our heads with a bunch of nonsense so we can be focused on some garbage instead of focus on getting up and getting our lives together. You know what I'm saying? This is garbage, man. This is garbage. This conversation is garbage, bro. Well, no, this is like it's a garbage conversation, man. We all the same peoples, you know what I mean? That's a fact, G-Dub Quinn Salute. That's right, man. We got more things to think about, man. This is, we all the same people out here, man. We all trying to get up. We all try to live good lives and do what we need to do, you heard? Word up. It's corny, bro. Like certain things is corny, but you have to, you gotta have the counter argument to the garbage. You gotta have the counter argument to that. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying who's right, who is wrong. I'm just saying where we at now. Where we at right now. We need to be doing what we need to do to be successful in America. We need to do what we need to do for our families to live good lives in America. We here in America, that's it. Not, is this Latin guy or black guy racist, or if he ain't doing nothing to you, what's the difference? I don't I don't see, I see white people, I work with white people every day. I don't say, hey, is this person racist or are you racist? No, I work with everybody, bro. I work with my community. I work with everybody. And if your views, if your values and your principles are kin to mine, then we family, no matter what your color is. You see what I'm saying? If you out here doing the right thing for your people, if you love your people, you know what I'm saying? That's what counts. What kind of person are you? Who are you? That's what counts to me. You know what I'm saying? Who are you? What are you doing out here? Not if, that's corny, bro. That's corny. And in real time, real people out here are not thinking about that. Maybe the dummies are thinking like that. But the real people out here is not thinking like that. The movers and the shakers ain't thinking like that. The politicians, they throw that at you to confuse you, to make you fear, to make you scared, to get their votes. Politicians might do it, but who worried about that out here? Yo, 96, baby, I like that right there. I like all them fists. I like that. We got all colors of the spectrum, man. We out here working together, man. You know what I'm saying? We out here working together. Every day I work out here with white people, with black people, with Spanish people to better my community, to better my life, and to better my family, man. That's what we do out here, to help families out here. You know what I'm saying? I depend on white, black, and Spanish people, Asian, to help better the lives of people every day. That's what I do every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day. I just left work at 7:30. I went into work this morning at 8:30. And that's what I do every day. You know what I'm saying? With white people, with black people, with Spanish people, bro. We're not worried about that. Nobody's worried about that. I mean, I depend on God too, because he guiding us. We out here doing God's work for real. You know what I mean? We out here doing God's work for real. You know what I mean? Helping the people, helping the homeless. You know what I'm saying? Helping the have-nots. That's what God said in the Bible. You're supposed to be helping the have-nots. You're supposed to be helping the prisoner. If we talking God, you can't talk God if you ain't helping the homeless, if you ain't helping the lowest man out there. You know what I'm saying? If you're not helping your brother, if you're not helping your sister, you can't talk God. You can't talk religion if you're not doing that kind of work. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how good your family doing. You can't talk God. You can't talk religion. You can't talk Christianity if you're not helping the homeless, if you're not helping the people out here in your community that need help. You can't talk God. I don't care how many times you pray a day. Appreciate you, Stacey Glorious. Thanks for setting up the super chat. But you cannot talk God if you're not out here doing that work. You know what I mean? I don't care how good you think you are. You know what I mean? If you're not helping anybody, if you're not lending out a hand to help your brother, to help your sister, to help your people out here in the community, you cannot talk God. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You cannot talk God. You know what I mean? I just try to live it. I try to just do the works. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just have the words. James, the whole book of James is about what? They say faith without works is nothing. You got to have some work. You got to put in some work. What work are you putting in? Faith without works is nothing. It's dead. Just being honest. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really, I ain't trying to preach, but that's the facts. You know what I mean? That's definitely the facts. You know what I mean? When you you do good things, you're gonna be blessed. You heard? Look, yo, look. Now, I was just saying earlier in this live, we got all these different separations. Yo, look, you got two gods in the Bible. Pick one. Which God? Jehovah, Jesus, You know what I'm saying? Allah, who, like, this is the confusion. this this is what they said. I'm telling you, these are the traps. You can't talk good works. Forget about, all right, I'm not gonna say forget the God, but what works are you doing? What works are you doing to be a righteous person? How are you righteous? What are you doing? Forget arguing over who's God. What are you doing to be in line with your religion? I'm just saying. Besides praying, prayers is a part of faith. Besides, what works are you doing? What works are you doing to actually consolidate and make your prayers manifested? What works are you doing? What work are you doing? The first thing we talk about God, Allah, a Muslim, Jesus was a prophet. Now we in a whole nother argument. We started with race, now we on religion. It's confusion, and this is what they want to see us at. What the actions, right, Wesley Roberts? What actions? What work are you putting in? To solidify, to confirm your faith, because we know faith without works is nothing. What are you doing? I'm praying. I'm praying to go to work. I pray and go to work. All right, I ain't mad at you for that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't hurt nobody. That's all good. I ain't mad at nobody, and I ain't trying to, take anything away from nobody. But when you pushing these lines and you saying you're a part of these religions, then you're supposed to be living a certain type of life and doing certain type of things. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, you heard? Right. Right. Just do what you can. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can for people and just help out when you can. You know what I'm saying? How you can help yourself and then help others. That it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't hurt others. But we got work to do. You know what I'm saying? What work are you doing? What work are you doing in yourself? What work are you doing in your family? What work are you doing in your community? You know what I'm saying? What works? That's what really gonna count at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? When it's time for you to meet your your creator, that's what's gonna really count. What work did you do? How did you balance, your sins from what you did, from the sin? Because we all sin. How did you balance that out? How did you, what did you do? Moses is funny. You funny, Moses. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. But do something. See somebody homeless, give them something to eat. Do something. Do something. You know what I mean? You can volunteer a few hours, to your local, resource center, boys and girls club, big brothers, big sisters. You can give them an hour or two every couple of weeks or something. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen, but it all works. Because if you're really going on to the doctrines of religion, then you got to be doing some work. You got to be doing some work. You got to be doing some work. You got to be doing something. You can't just be out, doing nothing. You heard? Yo, what up? Yeah, but you got to be, you need more like a village. Everybody in the village got to do some work. You got to do some work. You know what I mean? But this is a good live, man. Let's not, this is a good live. I ain't want to stay on it too long. I just wanted to give y'all, some good energy, some good history. Don't let them fool y'all or trick y'all into all of this Spanish and black stuff and white and all of that stuff is dead, bro. That stuff is over. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you know what really counts in America right now? The haves and the have-nots. The haves and the have-nots. Because they laughing at us. They laughing at us. They building their communities. They working together. They getting money. They doing everything they supposed to do, bro. They laughing at us, you heard? You tripping. Word up. You know what I mean? Right, Shakur. Right, Shakur. Right. We need to start pooling our asses, our resources, and working together, bro. That's the only way we're gonna do it. We can't let them keep trying to divide us, man. We gotta work together. And the differences, whatever differences you talking, we gotta put the differences aside and start coming out here doing the work. These kids need us. These people need us out here. Our families need us. Our communities need us to come out here and to be these, progressive people that are out here doing the work. You know what I'm saying? I work long hours, man. I do all kind of work. I do volunteer work. I pull up. I show support. I support other people's events. I try to be there. I try to be that productive, resourceful and supportive person. You know what I'm saying? As long as we keep contributing and supporting each other, staying blessed up, and thinking good thoughts, because your thoughts is things. And we're gonna be good. We're gonna be all right, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be all right, you heard? We're gonna be all right, bro, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. We actually did a divide up, but a lot of those divisions were broken down. A lot of that stuff, it don't last. Gotta do some volunteer work, man. You gotta do a couple hours here and there, man. You gotta give back. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put your money back into the community. You gotta put your money back into the peoples. You know what I'm saying? You gotta support. That's important. You know what I'm saying? Amazon is rich enough, man. What about the mom and pop stores going out of business because we don't support? We don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? We on the internet, we buying everything off Prime and doing different things. We gotta support, man. We gotta support local businesses. You know what I'm saying? It's important to put that money back into people doing the right things. You know what I'm saying? It's important to show that support. Sometimes you ain't gotta do it with money. You could do it with an hour or two right here. You know what I'm saying? You could do it with, maybe writing a good review, whatever. Pushing a like, sharing a video, all that stuff counts. You know what I'm saying? All that, at the end of the day, all that stuff counts. It's gonna turn into monetary gain. It's gonna turn into something that you can, utilize in the future. You know what I mean? But I ain't want to be on here too long. I just wanted to give y'all a good live, give y'all some good information, give y'all, a little something for the night, you heard? But you already know what it is, man. Mr. Hood Love Mikey B, man. Bad Mikey, man. Salute, man. Put them hours in. Faith without works is nothing, y'all. Faith without works is nothing. Salute. Peace.